Are you looking for a smart way to earn extra cash this spring? Well, you're in the right place because in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you 7 in-demand spring side hustles. And that includes one side hustle that can bring in at least $200 an hour. Now, these are simple side hustles, they're profitable, and they are also perfect for anybody out there watching today who wants to work for themselves. Now, I also believe that my list, well, I believe it's got something for everyone. So you're going to want to stick around. You're going to want to watch this video. And at the end, what I'll do is I'll tell you exactly how to find work doing these gigs. And that's all up next right here on Over 50 TV. Welcome back. My name is Lou Reyes, and this is Over 50 TV. We're your guide to earning more and retiring smarter after 50. Now, today I'm going to be jumping into 7 in-demand spring side hustles. One of them, as I mentioned in the opening of this video, one of them pays at least $200 an hour. Now, when I talk about these side hustles, I'm also going to share my personal experience with a few of them. So I think you're going to find that very interesting. And certainly it's going to be very, very helpful if you decide you want to jump into one of these. Now, before I get into our video, I do want to thank Career Fitter for sponsoring it. Career Fitter makes a career aptitude test. That's one of the best that I've tested here at Over 50 TV. Now, there's a link in the description box if you'd like to check out the free version of their career aptitude test. So now let's jump into my list of 7 in-demand spring side hustles. First up, house cleaning. Now, this is actually the first business that yours truly ever started. Started it just cleaning one home and expanded it from one person to 2 people to 3 to 4 to over a dozen folks going out every single day and cleaning homes. So it was a business that I was able to scale and scale rather quickly. Now, let me tell you why it's hot. Well, spring deep cleans are in high demand, especially from busy families and older adults who want help tackling things like a baseboards or maybe windows or really anything in the home that needs cleaning. Now, this is an easy business to launch. It didn't take a lot of investment on my part when I launched it. And I can tell you this, it doesn't take a lot of investment today if you want to start a business like this. And you can build it up with really just with great word of mouth. Now, the potential income from what I know, looking at today and what other cleaning services are charging, you can make anywhere or charge anywhere from $25 to $60 an hour if you're just a solopreneur, you want to do it by yourself. If you build up a team, well, you know what? You can charge anywhere from $75 to $150 an hour, especially like I say, if you're working with a team. And I did that, as I mentioned, started with a small team of folks, me included, and just built it up. And it was really a nice business. It's a business that I can personally recommend if you want to get out there, you want to make some extra money during springtime. Power washing. Now, this is actually the second business I started. The second business I started in my career, and I actually got into it because I was doing my home cleaning, and one day I saw a senior. He was out there and he was power washing the siding on his house, and I thought, boy, that's something I can do. I ended up talking to him, finding out the details, and I went out and I rented a power washer and I started advertising it along with my cleaning business, and it really generated a lot of revenue for us. So let me tell you why it's hot. First of all, curb appeal during springtime. Yeah, it matters to a lot of folks out there, especially some of the people who are deciding this is a time that they want to put their house on the market. Now, granted, market for houses right now is a little slow, but there's a lot of folks out there who want their driveways power washed, their siding power washed, their decks or their patios. They need to be refreshed. So yeah, they're going to be hiring people who can do power washing. Now, it's a gig that has what I think or what I call high perceived value, which means you can charge a lot per hour for this gig. And I'm going to get into that in a second. Now, to get into this business, what you'll need to do though, is you'll need to rent a pressure washer, and you can rent one of these from Home Depot. They've got electrical ones. They've got ones with a motor. I rented a motor. I always wanted to rent ones with motors. I just didn't want to be around the electricity, around water. That was just me. But you can rent one for $88 a day or $352 for the week, which makes a lot more sense. And I think they even have it at Home Depot. You can rent them by the month. But when you're making $400 or $500 a day, well, you know what? This price really is it's a low entry point to get into the business. And you can charge, as I mentioned, you can charge as low as $100. If you're doing something small, I can charge $200 or more per hour. It really just depends on the size of the area that you're going to be cleaning. Now, if you want more information on this particular side hustle, or maybe you're just curious about other side hustles, about other smart ways to earn money, well, then you're going to want to check out my other YouTube channel. It's called Side Hustle Rules. On that channel, I've got a bunch of videos there that can show you how to get started. I also go deep in some of the videos. If I'm talking about a particular side hustle and I really want to give you all the details, I go deep. So if you're interested in this side hustle or some of the other ones, well, then you're going to want to subscribe to Side Hustle Rules. And I do have a link to that channel in this video's description box. Home organizing. Let me tell you why this is a great idea. I'm going to tell you why it's hot. First of all, spring brings a fresh start mentality or mindset. You know, people are finally ready to deal with overflowing closets or pantries or especially garages, from what I find anyway. And many of those folks, they need your help. So if you love order and you love creating systems, I'm going to suggest that you check out this niche because it really is exploding. Now, let me tell you about the income potential to help you to understand it maybe even a little bit better. You can charge $50 to, let's say, $125 an hour. Now, when I say you can charge 50 to 125 an hour, you can charge more if you focus on high income areas, which is what I have always done. Whether it was my cleaning business or when I was doing my pressure washing, I focused on high income areas because to a lot of those folks, $50, $125, it's not that much money. It's worth it to them to hire you because you know what? They don't want to do the work. Lawn aeration and spring yard cleanup. Now, before I get into the details of this spring side hustle, let me just give you some backstory. If you have ever called a landscaper because you wanted them to come out and do some work, maybe you wanted them to come out and do some aeration or some mulching or debris cleanup or whatever. But if you've ever called a landscaper, what you're going to find invariably anyways, what you'll find is they'll answer the phone or they'll answer your text. But you know what? They're going to tell you, I can't get to you for a month or I can't get to you for 2 months. And usually it's because they are very busy and sometimes they don't even have the manpower to do the work. And certainly they can't help you as fast as you'd like them to be out there to help. So, knowing that backstory, why this business is hot, number one is there aren't enough folks doing the work. Now, I already said that there are homeowners out there, they want a fresh start in the spring. They hate doing the work themselves or they can't do it because maybe they're older. They want aeration, as I mentioned, or debris cleanup or mulching or maybe even planting cleanup. These are all easy tasks for a solopreneur or maybe a couple of folks to get together and do during the spring. These are packaged, or I would package them anyway, as high income services. I'd offer multiple services and I charge anywhere from $50 all the way up to $100 plus for the service. I've also mentioned this, I'm going to repeat it. Focus on those high income areas because the income potential is higher. It's greater if you focus on those areas. Window cleaning, exterior or interior. Now, if you're like me, you do not like cleaning windows. I don't care if it's exterior, I don't care if it's interior, I don't care if it's cleaning my car windows, I don't like it. But if you pay me, well, that's a completely different story. And that's why this side hustle, the spring side hustle is hot because sunshine means dirty windows are more noticeable. And this is, after all, this is a high perceived value task that people are happy to outsource because, again, they don't want to do it. And there's two ways that I would charge, either $75 to $125 per hour, depending on the location, meaning if it's a high income area. And it also depends on the home size. But you could charge by the hour or you could charge by the window. Now, my suggestion, and I'm going to mention this at the end of this video, is do your research. Find out what other folks in the area are charging. And of course, what you can do, and I would not undercut them. I would do at the very least, I would do the same amount that they're charging. And in some cases, I might charge more because I'd say that I'm more of a high-end deluxe window cleaner. Garage decluttering and junk hauling. Now, I have no experience in this particular kind of business, but I've got a good buddy who runs a construction company out of his home, multiple garages, multiple sheds on his large property. And every single year, he's got some folks that come out and they do what he calls purging. And they come out and they go through, they organize things in his garage, they throw out a lot of the junk. He also has some of them do the hauling, they haul things out. And you know what? He pays them anywhere from 100 to $150 an hour. And usually it's two or three folks who do it. So they'd be making about 50 bucks each per hour if it's $150. But for you, what I would suggest is you think about what the geographic area that you want to focus in, what kind of an income level that folks have out there, and that's how you could also gauge what you're going to charge. But just keep in mind, spring is actually purge season, and there are a lot of garages out there that people will call their pain point. And again, if you add some light hauling to this business, well, you can make some extra money doing it. But just focus. Once again, I'm going to suggest focus on high income areas, and you'll make the higher income. Estate sale organizer, downsize prep person. That's actually two separate titles there, but the gig, the side hustle is actually the same. And I think most of us know somebody who has either passed away or they've decided, you got a friend who's decided they're going to relocate, so they need someone to help them to sell the items in their home that they don't want to take with them, or in the case of somebody who passed away, you got a relative who just needs help selling the items. So what do? Well, they hire an estate sale organizer, or they hire somebody who can help them with the downsizing. And these are folks that are hired who are organized and they know how to price and they know how to sell items. So if you're somebody who has some of the skills that I just mentioned, you know how to price items, you know how to sell them, well, why not consider getting into or becoming an estate sale organizer? Now, the potential income from what I've seen is around $200 or more per hour. And usually when I've gone to estate sales, I see a handful of folks who are all involved. And I'm sure that organizer is charging more than $200 per hour. But regardless, that service is important. It's needed. If you're somebody who can do the full service, you're setting it up, you're sorting everything, you're pricing everything, you're staging, well, why not charge more than $200 per hour? But consider estate sale organizer, or, and I'll just put a slash there, downsizing preparation person. Now, I promised I'd tell you exactly how to find work doing these particular side hustles. Well, first thing you can do is you can post your services on marketplaces like TaskRabbit.com or Thumbtack.com. I actually like Thumbtack quite a bit. And you can also go on community marketplaces, whether it's a Facebook group or maybe you can go to a platform called Nextdoor. You can also create flyers. You can post them on community bulletin boards, or maybe you create a simple business card where you can just go on a software, a program called Canva. It's canva.com. I use Canva almost every single day here at Over 50 TV. And also on my other YouTube channel, Side Hustle Rules, I use Canva to design some of the thumbnails and some of the other artwork that I need. Now, you can leave the artwork in maybe a neighbor's mailbox. You can leave it on their porch or on a door handle. I know there's some folks that kind of frown on that, but if you know the area, you know some of the people in the area, they're not usually gonna mind if you put something in their door handle. I'd also suggest, I'm gonna give you this pro tip that I mentioned this earlier, but do some research to see what people in your area, in the market area that you want to service, do some research to find out what they're charging, because you want to make sure that your price fits so that you can also recoup your upfront costs. But my suspicion is, based on the information I've given you here today, that I still will strongly suggest that you do your own research on that aspect. Once again, I want to thank CareerFitter for sponsoring this video. As I said previously, CareerFitter makes a career aptitude test that I think is one of the best. I know it's one of the best that I've tested here at Over 50 TV. And over the years, I've tested quite a few. Now, there's a link to the free CareerFitter career aptitude test in the description box of this video, so you're going to want to check that out. Also, if you're curious about other smart ways that you can earn If you want to earn some extra money, a side hustle, maybe you want to turn that side hustle into a full-time business. Well, go ahead and check out this video right here for some more tips on other side hustles that'll help you earn that extra cash that you're looking for. Well, that's all I got for you today, other than to say subscribe to Over 50 TV, subscribe to Side Hustle Rules, and as I always say, have a great day, everybody.